Hey guys, Sean here with the Pro Sim Racing channel. If this is your first time here, feel free to take a look around. We have lots to offer. Usually we do things like gameplay videos, live streams, unboxings, product reviews, tutorials, and more. But today I want to talk to you guys about endurance racing. Now I've been putting this off for probably well over 2 years now. Well over. I've been sim racing since 2013, and well, seriously, that is. Before that, I was, I've been an avid gamer since my early teens, and I would mostly go after racing games. I was always into cars since I was a little guy. I was just into cars, totally car crazy. Anything I could find as on a game, any game to do with four wheels, I was there. Now, I only found out about sim racing more or less by mistake. I was actually playing Gran Turismo. I had multiple Gran Turismo titles, run through a few of those, but I always was playing with a PlayStation and a controller. Now, after a while, kind of dawned on me, why not look for a steering wheel? So I started looking around. Well, I'm in Trinidad and Tobago, that is, and nobody here is into sim racing. In fact, I never even knew sim racing existed, really, until I started looking to buy a steering wheel to put on my PlayStation 2. I came across the steering wheel, which is actually that steering wheel behind me here, that red the one with the red on it. That steering wheel I keep as a little memento, just to remind me where it's all started. That is one of the cheapest, most crappiest wheel you will ever see in your life. It's all plastic, really light plastic, with some red LEDs in the middle. Very cheesy. That wheel though started me into sim racing, or got the bug. That's where I got the bug. I bought that wheel thinking I was actually buying something really good. I never even heard the word sim racing. Never heard those words before in my life. I just bought that because I saw it in a store one day, and brought it home all excited, only to realize when I finally hooked it up to the PlayStation 2, when I turned my steering wheel from here to here, it was full lock, like literally full lock in game. It's ridiculous, like 90 degrees, and that was, who could drive with a wheel that sensitive, In fact, the wheel can't even turn more than that, really. That was at 90 degrees on either side. And I knew nothing back then about force feedback and, vibration. I knew nothing about nothing. I was just clueless. That wheel, I just could not use it. I couldn't use it. I remember sitting down on my couch in the living room, putting that steering wheel in my hand. Think about it, almost like a G27, maybe. Just rested on my lap, and I was turning the wheel, trying to use it, and I just couldn't. I was pretty good at this game, really, really good. In fact, I think it was some Tokyo Extreme Racer. I think it was Tokyo Extreme Racer. I was crazy over that game, pressing buttons, turbo boost, flames coming out the muffler, tailpipe, and all that. You were just crazy. It was fun. Hey, I didn't know any better, so to me that was exciting. But I just could not drive anything, Gran Turismo, nothing at all with that wheel. So I just wasted $400 and something. I think it was like $450. I paid for that in Trinidad currency, and I was bummed. I was annoyed. I was ticked off that I wasted that money. But then it kind of sparked me into looking now online for a better wheel. I said there has to be something out there. I mean, I heard about there being wheels to control the PS2, so I started looking for PS2 wheels. Wheels that compatible with PS2. That's when I came up on the Inside Sim Racing channel with Sean Cole and Darren Ganji. And the first video I think I saw was actually a video with Logitech G27. That was the first video I noticed on that channel. And that started it all. Oh, by the way, this is mostly me talking to you guys, just get a story type thing, which is something I don't usually do at all. I think that's, in fact, I think this is my very first video like this. So feel free if you would like to minimize the video or go about your, doing something else while listening to the, while listening. So feel free. Think about it as a podcast. Anyway, guys, that whole G27 video, it just opened my eyes. I never knew sim racing existed. I never heard about, heard those words. So after watching that video, seeing Sean Cole and Darren Ganji explaining this whole wheel and pedal set, and that you could actually feel vibration and feel, the road on the car and on the steering wheel, was like, that was like, what the heck? I couldn't even believe it. So of course I saved towards that and I bought one. And then I was just in a mess over sim racing all of a sudden. I couldn't put it down. I literally went back and probably looked at every video that Inside Sim Racing put out. I could not wait for a new video to come out. I just could not wait. It was like driving me nuts. I just could not wait for a new video to drop. And that was the beginning of it all for me personally. When I got my G27, after a while, Sean Cole came out. I used to have it clamped. I clamped it to a desk, a table that I had here with one monitor. All I had was one monitor. I went crazy building this new PC. Got the PC built. Had this one, literally, actually, my monitor that's in front of me that I use for racing right now is my actual first monitor that I bought. The one in the middle is my very first monitor. And then I saved some more and I bought the two on the ends to make it a triple screen. And then I bought a fourth one and put it overhead, which you guys don't usually see in the videos. But that bug bit me so hard. It was almost it was hard to control. But over the years, I've always heard Sean Cole say that the best form of sim racing is endurance racing. And I was always a little apprehensive, might be the word. Just the thought of endurance racing usually got me very anxious, and I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Just the thought of somebody else, depending on you to keep the team car safe while still trying to put in, competitive laps, lap times. That was something I just could not deal with. I just couldn't deal with it. But somehow, someway, on Saturday the 22nd of June 2019, this year. By the way, I'm going to be reading something that some stuff that I scribbled down here because I knew there are a few points I want to make and I know I'm going to forget. So I'm looking at I'm reading. So anyway, as I said, on the 22nd of June, I competed in my very first ever virtual endurance race. Now, this is something huge for me, like huge, massively huge. Like I said, I've been sim racing for a few years at this point, but I've never had nothing get me as anxious as the thought of doing an endurance race. Now, like I said, the thought of anybody, me being responsible for this car, and if I mess up, I could literally mess it up for everybody else. And that thought that used to drive me nuts. It kept me from endurance racing for years, really. And I just couldn't I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with it. But like I said, Sean always said that, and listening to Sean saying that all the time, every now and then getting to know him personally, myself now, with the Simpet, and right now I'm the one that's in control of the SRS races, the Simpet and Pro Sim Racing SRS races. Well, Assetto Corsa races, that is. Wow, I have to try and calm down my speech. I know I talk fast, so I have to try and slow down for you guys to understand. Now, I put together, well, me and my buddies now, because now as I have a little team going, I have, by the way, shameless plug, if you're not already there as yet, do feel free to look in the description. You will see a link to our Discord channel. It's free to join. No, nothing, you don't have to pay anything. Just come in, hang out. We have a great group of guys. All of us best buddies race together almost every day. It's like sim racing has gotten to a whole different level when you have friends to race with. If you think you're enjoying sim racing now, join a group of of guys that all of us end up being pretty close friends, and it's a whole different feeling racing with friends than racing alone. Trust me, racing against AI is boring as heck compared to racing against real people, especially racing with your friends. And at the same time speaking to them, in Discord chat is actually pretty cool. So anyway, let's get back to it. Like I said, I finally decided to try and push myself to do this endurance race. I signed up for the endurance race on the 22nd, which actually was the 6 hours of the Glen. That's on iRacing. So I signed up for that the Sempet race team, which is sponsored by Rick Motek. Signed up with Sean Cole and those guys, and I still wasn't sure that I would actually do the race. I was just trying my best to push myself. Luckily, I did it. So now, just in case you don't know, the 6 hours of the Glen is actually an endurance race held at Watkins Glen International Raceway along the Finger Lakes of Watkins Glen, New York. Now, this is the 6th round of the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. Really, really cool race. Really fun. Now, I am a big fan of Watkins Glen. I love Watkins Glen track. I love that track. So this was like a great start for me. I think what got me kind of probably to actually give it a try is the fact that the race is not very long. It was only 6 hours as opposed to like the 24 hours at Daytona and Spa. 10 hours like the Petit Le Mans, which is 10 hours. So this was only 6. And you have teammates, so you wouldn't have to really drive for too long. So less chance of things going wrong, I guess. So, and then too, of course, I'm a big fan of Rick Motek. My rig is a Rick Motek rig. I'm a big fan of Rick Motek. That guy Frank Rico is such a nice guy. A genuinely nice guy. So yeah, to me it was just a no-brainer. But anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. So as I said, I joined the Rick Motek racing team. Now, the Glen, the 6 hours of the Glen, the eligible cars were the Corvette C7 Daytona prototype, Porsche RSR GTE, we got the Ferrari 488 GTE, the Ford GT GTE, we got the BMW M8 GTE, Audi R8 GT3 LMS, and the Mercedes AMG GT3. Now, as you notice, the last two cars were GT3 cars. Now, we decided to drive the BMW M8 GTE, which just came out on iRacing around that time. So it was a relatively new car on iRacing. Pretty new car. And the drivers on our team were Mr. Amir Assad, Mr. Chris Phillips, and myself. Now, there were two other guys on the team before that, which literally made us, at the time Chris wasn't actually on the team. It was me, Amir, and two other guys. Two other guys had to leave. Something came up, they had no choice but to, bail on the race. So at the very last minute, Chris came in to kind of help us out. So we ended up with 3 hours for 6 hours. So we said, okay, cool, no problem. 2 hours each in bad, right? We do doubles, we just do a double stint and everybody's cool. So there you go. Now we decided to let the most experienced driver qualify the car, which was Amir. Amir is the did a few had a few endurance races under his belt, so he was the one with the most experience. And actually, I think he was the fastest guy amongst us as well. So Amir qualified the car and started with the first stint. I think I took the second stint. Chris took the third, and then we would cycle around again. So, by the way, a link to the video, the actual race, will be in the description below as well. So you can go and check it out. It was really cool. Sorry though, but that race was actually broken up into 2 parts due to a power failure. I actually had a power failure. Luckily, I wasn't driving at the time, but at that point, I think I already did my first stint, and I was out of the car, and we had a power failure here. It took a little time for the modem to boot back up and all that stuff. So, but that's why it's broken up into 2 parts. Anyway, so it actually started out with 4, like I said, 4 of us, and ended kind of coming out with 3. Well, 3. We settled with 3 guys. I remember this is my very first endurance racer, so I was nervous as heck. I was definitely panicking on the inside. Although I've been sim racing for all these years, so but this is such a different level. It's it really kind of, it's interesting. It's very interesting. Now, this is a whole different level of stress. If you think you stressed out probably before some big race before, this is a whole different level, right? Like I said, knowing that you have this team car that you need to keep safe while still putting in competitive lap times and still trying to be, a decent person on the track. You're trying to be nice, well, at least with me. I try to be, very courteous on the track, not keep the faster cars back or whatever. But at the same time, you have to look out for what I call track bullies. There are some guys out there that just don't give a what about anybody. They in it for themselves, and they couldn't care less. They will push you out of the way. So you have to be, keep an eye out for those kind of people as well. So when it come to trying to actually get myself ready for this endurance race, I had to try anything I could think about to not panic, to keep my mind off of that part of it, the stressful part of it. So I would usually look, sometimes we would get together as a group. We would host servers, and there would be a hosted server in iRacing where we'd get together and race, practice together and stuff. But no, all that is well and fine for like working on this on a setup, a team setup and that kind of stuff, so that's good. But I personally always like to run amongst a big crowd, because we 3 of us or 4 of us, maybe a few other friends might join us and help us practice, practice with us. But the thing is, all of us know each other. We will more or less tend to be very courteous around each other. I want to get into an open server about 25 people and just, amongst the crazy people, amongst the masses, and just let whatever happen. Now, as you can see, it was a multi-class race, and I want to be amongst different cars, different people, different skill levels, that kind of thing. So you get a better idea of what might happen during the actual race that way. So that's what I rather do, practice that way. So we would practice together, work on the setup and stuff, and luckily we actually found a setup that was more or less really good for all of us. I had no problem with the setup whatsoever. I actually enjoyed it. So did Chris. So did Amir. Amir was pretty fast with it. I was comfortable with it. Now, I think that's one of my strengths too. I tend to, if you give me any particular setup, give me a few minutes and I will more or less tend to adapt to it. It might not be my ideal setup, maybe, for my driving style. But once I adapt to it, once I could handle it, I'm good enough, comfortable with it. But luckily, this particular setup was a setup that I actually did like, really. So that was kind of cool, Now, I was mostly I personally, my type of practice, I was mostly hot lapping on like low fuel runs, hot lapping the car, trying to get an idea what it felt like, at pretty good speed, at max speed, as fast, as hard as I could push it. That's what I was doing. Now, I wanted to get familiar with the car when it was light, but after a while, I actually filled the car right up. I wanted to feel obviously what it felt like while it was heavy, because usually when we pit the car and a new person is going out, we will usually go out with a full tank, obviously a full tank of fuel. So I started to do some really long stints, starting with full fuel, let it run out. While the fuel burn off, remember your tires are wearing away as well. So the car is starting to feel very different at that point. You have to start to fight tires after a while when the car starts sliding around a bit with less grip. And then at the same time, the car is probably, most likely picking up speed a little faster because it's pretty running light on fuel at that point. So it's a whole different dynamic. So practice, right? But I think one of my strengths is, being able to kind of adapt to different setups, which is good, which is very good actually. I always say one of the better things to learn is how to adapt to different situations. You have to, as any real race car driver would, have to adapt to various situations. You never know what could creep up during a race. Somebody tap you on your front, a front fender, whatever, something slightly off, maybe a little bit of aero damage. You have to adapt. Sometimes you might be able to come in to pit right away, so you might have to run the car like that for 20 minutes, 40 minutes, who knows, maybe even an entire stint. So as I say, you have to be able to adapt, and that's a big part of it that some people don't even think about. Your car won't necessarily always be perfect condition. So anyway, when it comes to setups, some people rather a very stable setup, something with a fair amount of understeer, something that is less prone to spinning out, or, things like that. Then again, there are some other people like the opposite. Some people, like a car with a looser rear end, something that's easy to turn, but which is more likely to spin out, which is sometimes the faster setup, not always. But like I say, to each his own. We are all different. You have to keep it, that's what practice is about. To me, one of the harder things maybe is the thoughts of getting a setup that everyone likes. I remember it's only 3 people here in this particular race, but what's about a race where your one vehicle has about, let's say, 6-7 drivers maybe? That one setup has to do for everyone. So, but then of course, you could always do certain little things for yourself, like maybe brake bias. That's a personal preference. You sit down in the car, you tune the, handle the brake bias to suit yourself. The other guy, when he jumps in, he'll do the same. So that part, is no big deal. But overall, the setup, has to be like a one setup for everybody. So it has to work out. Now that we finally had our team set up all ready to go, it was time to start some full fuel runs. And I decided to do my full fuel runs in the open server on iRacing amongst the masses. So I wanted to see what it's like. I wanted to get a pretty good idea what it might be like to have faster cars, rocketing past me, and slower cars in my way, things like that. You don't want to as close, I wanted to get it as close as I could get it to what it might be like on the actual race day. So we were also practicing on a very hot track. When we do our because we heard on that day they would be iRacing would be running the track pretty hot. The overall weather in sim will be pretty hot that day. So we were running on some pretty hot tracks. In my personal thinking is the track is hot. Now, the track being cool does have a significant, it makes a significant difference. Running on a cool track in iRacing, the car will be faster, has more grip, that kind of stuff. When the track gets wicked hot, the car gets a bit slower, as with real life, and it's more prone to slip and slide in a bit. So, and in game the track was pretty hot. So we were running on testing on some seriously hot track, seriously hot conditions. The idea being that on race day, when it does get a little cooler, it will actually be better for us, right? So, hey, practice in the worst conditions, I guess. Now, this was important information to know before the race, especially an endurance race, where one little mistake could, make it bad for the entire team. Like I said, my biggest fear was actually disappointing my teammates by probably, hurting the car. That is a real fear for me. Going into any endurance race, that's the first thing I think about. Hopefully, I just don't want to be the guy to touch that car, to put a scratch on that car. Even when I'm racing by myself, I mean, if you look at some of my races, one of my main issues is people hurting my car. My main thing is to have a clean race, even over speed, sometimes even over where I finish in the race. I just want to have a clean race. That's my thing. I hate getting incident points. I can't stand it. I don't like people hurting my car. It annoys me. So anyway, this was, like I said, this is a lot of information to take into. Sometimes, you practice, you want to push yourself so hard, your information overload is to me is real. Sometimes you just need to back off, back away, chill out a bit, and then come at it again with fresh eyes. Sometimes, you're practicing on a track, a given track, with a given car. And you start out doing pretty well. You start seeing yourself, progressing, getting a little faster. Looking at certain corners, you're taking different lines, and you're getting better and better, faster. And then all of a sudden, you start falling off and probably start getting even slower. At that point, it's just time to chill out. Trust me, your brain is soaking it in. You come back the next day, you come back a few hours later, and you are just better because your brain just needs to take it in a bit and let it marinate a little. No, there is when it comes to just a whole endurance race thing, for me, nervousness is a serious thing, very serious. I guess I might get better at it maybe over time, but I think there will always be this level of anxiety because one little slip up on your part could, as I said, mess it up for everyone, and that is real. Now, my big another thing too for me, specifically for me, is that if I mess up, I'm gonna mess up live, because I'll be live streaming this entire thing. I will mess up for everyone to see. So there's no ducking and hiding for me. So that's another added stress, I guess. Added layer of stress. But you know, at the end of the day, it's good to push yourself. It's good to push yourself. You never know what you could achieve, huh? What you could accomplish if you take this step. So, you know, Murphy's Law states anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So I don't want that to happen. So practice, practice, practice. You know, the more you prepare, the better. So I also, let me see. I was nervous about the whole thing. Now, not just now thinking about it. I was not only nervous about the actual endurance race. Other things was kind of weighing on my mind. I was thinking about my PC. Well, now that I know I've got my gaming. Well, my gaming PC is here now. As you can see, it's in the shot. I have another one, a bigger one than this, which was what my gaming PC from before, my older gaming PC, which is now my streaming PC and editing PC. So now that I have two separate computers to give you guys a better quality stream, that was cool. But the problem is, I had to worry about internet cutting out, which actually did happen because of a power failure. So, yeah, go figure. Well, I guess my stress was real. It actually happened. So I had my newly built PC here. This was running iRacing, of course, the actual sim. It was running Discord, Crew Chief, OBS, Dash Meter Pro, which is what I run like my tablets and stuff, and phone. Sim Vibe, you know, the vibration and the butt kickers and that kind of stuff. Sim Hub, which is what I show you guys, the leaderboard and all that kind of stuff. So this runs a lot of, you know, programs, even while racing. And after everything was ready to go, you know, I still have to set up the other PC, you know. So I decided to get up about, you know, set this whole thing up about 2 hours before the race. Hopefully to give me a little time to get a few laps in again, because it just so happened that I had a race the night before on sim racing system with a Assetto Corsa, and you know, it's not easy jumping from sim to sim because you know, the cars feel so different. You know, to me, each sim has their own characteristic, their own feel, their own vibe, and I don't want to go, you know, the last car that I drove being in a Assetto Corsa, and then jumping in this car on iRacing. So I wanted to make sure I get a few laps in, familiarize myself with the car and the feel all over again. Anything that I need to tweak, whether it be on my steering wheel, whatever, you know, I get it sorted out before. Luckily, you know, I went through the process, all that was done. After a few minutes of practice, I felt fairly comfortable, you know, with the car back on that hot iRacing, you know, conditions. So it was cool. Before I knew it, it was time to actually start the race. Now, of course, Amir took over. Amir went and qualified the car and started first stint. Now, after qualification, we actually qualified in P13. Right? Out of 50 drivers, there were 50 teams registered, 50 teams, and we qualified in P13. So after qualifying, you know, that wasn't bad at all. Actually, that was pretty cool. So I find, you know, hey, we're in the top quarter already, so that's good. You know, that's not bad at all. So we had one heck of an exciting race after that. But looking at Amir following the pace car out, and well, of course the stream was live at that point. You see everything. Amir did great stunt. And then it was time for me to take over, and of course I was starting to panic the more the time went down. Amir's last three laps, I was like here kind of ready to go but panicking, but at the same time. But you know, it was my very first time driving that, you know, getting ready to actually go out there for my first lap as part of a team, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. Now, we did have one heck of a race, I have to admit. We competed flawlessly. No extra time being wasted when it comes to driver swaps. Driver swaps were completed flawlessly. I mean, I don't think we could have done better than that. In, out. You know, we had no real damage to the car, so we didn't really waste time worrying about repairs, nothing like that. We just get in, switch drivers, fuel up, everything, change tires, and we out again. So that was really cool. It was a really cool experience. I never had an experience like that before. And I have to say, definitely say thanks to Amir, especially because he was the one more or less kind of, like I was calling him the team captain because he was the one with all the experience, really, and helping me keep things, trying to stay calm, trying to stay calm. I tell him, I say, you sort out everything for me, so I can just jump in the pits because like fuel and tires and all that. So he would handle all that for me, and then just go in and out. Cool. Now, at the end of it, the entire race was I think a 200 lap race. We did, I think, 199 out of that 200 laps. We did pretty good. We actually came in P4 at the end of the race. So we started P13 out of 50, came in P4, and we honestly almost had a podium, except one guy totally messed up Amir. Totally messed them up. Guy pulled out onto the track, spin his car in the middle of the track, pull out onto the track, right in front of Amir. The car got hit. Luckily, we didn't get too much we didn't sustain too much damage. So the car was, able to go on. He was able to run it and finish his stint. And when he came in, we did the repairs, and then it was just not really too big, but it was still significant enough. So we took the repairs, and then I got on my way after the repairs. And like I said, it was one heck of a great experience. I cannot tell you how much of how good it was. It was something that has been in my mind ever since, honestly. It is, as Sean Cole said, I am definitely, full belief of it now too. Endurance racing is, to me, the best form of sim racing. It's the most stressful, it's the most pain in the butt, but it's the most rewarding. It's really, really cool. There's nothing like sharing a car with friends. Now, after that experience, which, by the way, as I said, the links to the video, the actual race, will be in the description. So check the description and you could go and check it out yourself. It was a really, really fun race. Now, strangely enough, after that race, I was also fortunate enough to take part in another race, which was actually the iRacing Petit Le Mans race that was held on the 5th of October this year. The eligible cars for that one was the Corvette C7 Daytona prototype, BMW M8 GTE, Ferrari 488 GTE, Ford GT 2017, Porsche 911 RSR GTE, Audi R8 LMS GT3, and the Mercedes AMG GT3. Now, this time we had a pretty decent field, a pretty different group of guys, a pretty big group. It wasn't just three of us alone. This time we had Devin Booth, who actually qualified the car and did the first stint because he had to leave. Now, this race was a 10-hour race, by the way. So, we had Sean Cole himself, we had Joa Antonio, sexy Joa. Yeah. We got me, Sean Seabrand, we got Chris Phillips and Grant Henderson. This is in order of how we actually, drove the car. So that's in order of appearance. Now, again, same Simpet Racing team, sponsored by Rick Matek. But that race is something to behold. You see, sometimes, we try our best to prepare as best as we can. sometimes, you know, we might forget certain things. I mean, you might be able to prepare for every scenario. I mean, we put some serious time in preparation for this particular race, that Petit Le Mans race, which was held, by the way, at Road Atlanta. So, and this time around, we actually ran the Ferrari 488 GTE at Road Atlanta for this Petit Le Mans race. Now, love that car. I love the way it feels, everything. Same thing with the BMW. So I really couldn't care less which one they used. You know, but strangely enough, we were actually practicing for the BMW, and late and at more, you know, closer to the end, you know, to the start of the you know, we ended up switching over to the Ferrari instead, because we were to have two teams. We was actually supposed to have a BMW team and a Ferrari team. Some guys, you know, I guess, you know, over time, some guys had to leave the BMW team, and we just decided, look, everyone that's hopped in the Ferrari, because the Ferrari had more drivers. So we just hopped in over there. I guess that's why we ended up with a decent amount of drivers. But man, that race was something else. I mean, if you guys think the first race at Watkins was great, this one was something to behold. Like I said, biggest fear is hurting that car, the team's car. Biggest fear ever. And when I think about it now, first thing going into this race, in my mind, no, I mean, it might sound bad, but it's really not. It's just that in my mind, to me, Sean Cole is like the boss. He is the you know, the man that runs the Simpet. He is the owner, and so technically, I look at it as though I'm driving for him. So I say, if anyone is to damage that car, I hope it's Sean and nobody else. You know, so said, so done, as we say in Trinidad. It happened. We actually did get some pretty serious damage, and it just happened that Sean Cole was the one driving. No, man, I know, and knowing Sean, Sean is a guy that puts a lot of pressure on himself. That is the kind of thing that will drive him nuts. Like, really drive him nuts. He felt as though he let down the team. We felt as though, hey, I mean, it could happen to anybody. And honestly, it really wasn't his fault. Some other guy kind of caused, you know, this incident. But, you know, it is what it is. It's a recent incident. It happens. It happened. Nothing we could do about it. But the thing is, it took a while for this car to repair. We thought we were really out of this race. But you would not believe the comeback. The comeback was impressive. Really impressive. In fact, all of us were like, really, we couldn't believe it. When we were just like passing cars. We just getting opportunities and passing cars. It was cool. I was probably more aggressive than I've been in a long time on a track. I am pretty calm, but even in a race setting, I'm pretty calm. But I was pretty much aggressive in that race. I shocked myself. Some of the passes that I made, I actually shocked myself, really. And we did good. We really did good. Now we practice for this race. Put in a lot of time. All of us did. And like as I said, luckily again, one setup worked out great for everybody. Worked out really good. Now one thing we overlooked though. One thing, you know, there might always, you know, as much as you try to prepare for something, there might be something that you may overlook, and we did. Even with all of us, even with all these drivers that we had, we had a few. None of us really thought about it. It's a 10-hour race. It started during daytime in sim. We really didn't think about it, but the race went on into the nighttime in sim. It was dark as heck. I couldn't see anything. In fact, and funny enough, I was the one that was actually driving at that point. I think that was my second stint, I think. out to it. Anyway, yeah, I was the one that was driving at that point where it was like about probably 6 p.m. in game, and the sun was going down. So in my particular stint, it actually started with me in daylight and ended with me in pitch darkness, like total nighttime, strictly night. When it got dark, it was something we did not plan for. Sure as heck not me, because I could not see. I never pull a lap on Road Atlanta in darkness in any sim. So that was like a shock. I did not know what the hell to do because I couldn't even see apexes that I knew were right in front of me. I know Road Atlanta like the back of my hand. I know Road Atlanta really, really well. Raced there so many times in multiple sims. One of my favorite tracks ever. Love Road Atlanta. But I'm coming like down the back straight and I can't even see the corner. I'm not coming up to it because I'm actually going more and more downhill, but I just couldn't even see the corner. Don't know where the heck the apex was. I went through a few laps like that struggling. Imagine total darkness. Only thing is there is your light from your car. And you're going over the hill, coming down towards the finish line. It's not easy. It's a nerve-wracking. It's like a whole different layer of stress again. And then you will, if in fact, again, the link to this race in its entirety is in the description. Trust me, it's a great race, fun race. You guys will have fun watching that. But I got this idea while racing, while actually driving, and I could hardly see a thing. I got this idea to let the guy behind me pass, so that way he could like help me light the way, because I'm ahead of him. He's not all that slow, but so I on purpose I let him pass. So I told the guys, I said, I think I'm gonna let this guy pass. So I think I could, that will help me a bit. So I slowed down a bit, let him pass. And when he actually passed, now I'll give him probably about 2-3 car lengths, and I stayed there, stayed on his right behind him, and that was a great help because he obviously, now I could see when he lights up, when he lit the way, the apexes, when he turned the corners, I know exactly where the corners were, and man, that was such a great help, and that's how I did it. Luckily the guy was fast enough to be catching up to other people, so I just stick with him, and as soon as he catch up to people and pass them, I will pass them as well, and we'll just keep on going like that for a while. And that's how I did it for most of my stint in darkness, until because that track, as far as I remember, the track itself had no light. The only light was coming from the cars themselves, so it was bloody well dark, but man, it was exciting as heck. I have never been never taken part in anything like that before. That was crazy. And then of course, other drivers took over after me. It was like, I think Chris took over after me, and Chris did well. Chris did really, really well in that darkness, And then of course, Grant Henderson, Mr. Speed himself, he brought it home. Man, Grant was flying in that darkness. It was crazy. But anyway, that was one heck of a race. Anyway, guys, this is going too long already. This is going on too long. We're getting close to hour. So, like I said, the races, both endurance races, are going to be linked in the description. Go check them out. It's part of a iRacing playlist that I live stream playlist that I did recently. So you guys will have some fun with that. Now we have we've been invited. Pro Sim Racing team now have been invited to take part in a new race coming up. It's in December of this year, and keep an eye out. I'll be giving you guys some more information as we go along, because this one is going to be interesting. It's something we never did before. It's not iRacing. We're actually going to be doing an endurance race, a 24-hour endurance race on a Assetto Corsa. Now, I've never done that before. I didn't even know it was possible to do driver swaps on a Assetto Corsa. But So this is a whole new thing for me. This is going to be a whole new thing. So we have a lot to learn. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of preparation to go through. Me and some of my buddies now. This is not the Sempit crew. This is strictly me and my buddies now. A Pro Sim Racing team. So, man, this is going to be crazy. Keep an eye out. Keep an ear out. We're going to be giving you guys more information pretty soon. You'll know who the drivers are. You'll probably show you the car, what the car looks like, that kind of stuff. So it'll be cool. It'll be fun. We are planning to have some fun. I'm kind of excited for the guys, especially because some of them never, in fact, most of them never took part in an endurance race before, ever. And this will be their very first time. And most of them don't have iRacing. So, you know, this will be their very first opportunity to see what it is like to be part of a team. And I'm cool. That's to me, that's cool. That's fun. That's great. So keep an eye out, keep an ear out. We have a lot of stuff coming up. I promise not to do too many of these videos because I'm probably talking ahead of at this point. So I'm gonna leave you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the little story. But I could not articulate this the way I would really like to. This little story. I probably could have done a lot better, but I am not that good. So I actually did a write up on the on my experience, in like a more in-depth look at what I really went through, for this entire, all the time leading up to the endurance race and all that stuff. If you'd like to take a look at that, I will be posting that soon. I'll be posting that on my website. So I will leave that link to the write-up if you would like to take a look at it on my website. Feel free. It's trust me, it will be more in depth than what I just went through. So I just basically scratched the surface. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a little different to what I usually do, but let's see. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, consider subscribing if you're not subscribed already. Give us a thumbs up. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think about doing videos like this. It's been a long time since I did an edited video and edited content on this channel, and this is the first time in a long while. So give me a little idea whether you guys liked it or not. Maybe something else you probably want me to touch on or whatever. Leave it in the comments. I would love to hear from you guys. I would definitely answer get back to everyone. So I usually get back to everybody in my comments, every person. So you guys go spend some time with your family, have some fun, and I'll see you guys really soon. Take care.